There was a moment, Rube, late in this game, the Jets score, they cut into the lead, and I hear these little kids below the press box chanting, "Overrated." Maybe they're right. Maybe this tells you a lot about the Eagles. They squeak out a win against the New York Jets in the third preseason game.
So who exactly were they saying was overrated? Like O'Shawn Madison?
I think so. They were like little kids having fun. Anyway, this is Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan, Reuben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. The preseason is over. That's a beautiful thing. The next time the Eagles play, it will count, and that is also a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, I started thinking about, don't you wish there were still 4 preseason games? Or back in the day, in the 70s, they would play 7 preseason games. Can you imagine? They only played 14 regular. So a third of the games, total games, were preseason games, which is crazy. But yeah, it's 3 is too many. I think 2 might end up being too many because, look, joint practices have kind of replaced preseason games as far as competitiveness. But yeah, we got through it, and opening day is 13 days away.
It'll be here before you know it. We're not going to take a long time on this podcast. We'll go through some stock up, stock down. We'll bounce around some 53-man roster ideas, and then we'll get out of here and let you get to your weekend, everybody. But we'll start with stock up. We'll go through all those, and we'll go stock down. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
All right. So, by the way, the final score, I didn't say it. The final score was 19-17.
You don't need to say the final score.
The Eagles won. All right. First stock up, Montrell Johnson, running back from Florida, really looked good early in this game, especially.
Yeah, things kind of fell apart at the end. He had a 2-yard loss that kind of messed up his stats when looked like McCord might have stepped on him or something. But, yeah, he showed some burst. The touchdown was nice. He had a couple 13-yard runs. This is what we've kind of been waiting for. He was hurt. The last game, he didn't really have any room to run. I think he had 6 for 20. But when he got in the open field a little bit, yeah, we saw the elusiveness, the speed. A few of those runs, he looked like the guy that we've kind of been waiting for all summer. Yeah,
and that touchdown run was nice. He showed some patience, showed some burst. That was a 3rd and 12, and he went for 15 in the score.
Yeah, and out of all these backup running backs, like everybody but the top 3 guys, he was the most ballyhooed. I think he started out at Louisiana, is that right, before he went to Florida for 3 years. His numbers were always really good in college. He was never like a lead back, but he was always productive. He had 3,000 yards in 4 seasons and I think 33 touchdowns, 5.2 average. So you kind of wanted to see him, and this is why. I think, look, he's probably not going to be on the roster, but I think he's a guy that they like. Out of all the other running backs, he's clearly the most talented, it looks like.
Yeah, I'd expect even if he gets cut that they would want him back on the practice squad if possible.
I would think so, and I think they'll be able to do that.
Next one, Byron Young, defensive tackle, missed some time earlier in the training camp, but I thought he had a really nice game.
Yeah, he was really active. Up until the very end, I thought the second defense, and a lot of that was the third, but I thought the second defense was a lot better. They were really active. He was really active. I like the way he played. And yeah, I don't know where he fits in, if he fits in, but he did some good things.
I think he's got a real shot, and we'll get to that when we go through the roster. But I think I've seen enough to think that it's going to be a really tough call if they have to leave him off that roster.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's been solid.
How about your boy Perry Nickerson, 30-year-old? What an interception that was.
It really was. It was just acrobatic and athletic and clever. Man, the sideline went nuts for him. It was really cool. You see guys that he's competing with, like, just kind of jumping around and screaming and just thrilled for him. He's the guy that, he's 30 years old. He's never really found a home in the NFL. He played the most playing time he ever had. I think it was with the Jets.
He was drafted by the Jets.
His rookie year was like 2018, maybe.
He was drafted by the Jets before Joe Douglas was the GM.
How about that? Current Eagles offensive line equipment guy, Joe Douglas. We see out there helping Jason Kelce with the gear. But yeah, it was a great play. I just wrote a story about him, and he's had a really good summer. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I think he can play a little bit. And the younger players love him. They all look up to him. He's like the what's the word? The patriarch of the secondary, because everybody else is like 22, 23, 24. Reed's 26, and then Perry Nickerson's 30. Got a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. He's bounced around, a lot of resilience. He's a guy that you can't help root for.
Jake Elliott. Maybe we don't need to see Jake Elliott kick a ton in the preseason, but he did drill 2 from 50 plus, which, if we remember last year, he struggled from 50 plus.
Yeah. And I think he was 4 for 4 today, 6 for 6 in the preseason. Him and Braden Mann both look great all summer. But yeah, you kind of forget what an important guy Jake Elliott is. And you feel pretty good about him if there's game-winning 53-yarder that he's got to hit. Yeah,
you look at he was 1 for 7 from 50 plus in the regular season last year. Now, some of those were like weird conditions and, but 1 for 7 still isn't great.
Yeah, I think one of them was like 61 yards. Mm-hmm. But guys make those kicks. And I think the one that he made was his last one, right? I think he was 0 for 6 and then made
one. Sounds right. And he was 1 for 2 in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, but I still have faith in him. I still have a lot of confidence in Jake Elliott. I still think he's one of the better kickers in the league. Yeah,
I agree with that. But I thought it was a good sign to see him. It looks like the operation's good too. You have a new long snapper and you wonder how that affects things, but so far so good.
Yeah, they were good kicks. I mean, the one was kind of toward the right standard, but yeah, he's kicking well, and he's kicked well all summer.
Next one on my list is Patrick Johnson, because of course Patrick Johnson made another play in the preseason.
Yeah, another one. I don't know what you do with him. I got him at my 53. It might be emotional. But I think he's a guy. It was interesting to hear Vic talk about him the other day. He just said he's reliable. That was it's an interesting word. I think he's a guy that's been around. He's played a lot of football, a lot of special teams. He's smart. He stays healthy. He doesn't, he's available. I think the coaching staff just likes him. And I wouldn't be shocked if they find a spot for him on the 53. Had the sack today, had the interception earlier in the preseason. If he is here, he probably won't play much on defense, I don't think. But he's just a good guy to have around.
Yeah, I agree. And you give him credit. He earns his spot every time he makes the team. Like, some of these guys aren't doing much in the preseason, but Patrick Johnson is.
Yeah, when you're a 7th round pick, you have to. You're not going to get handed anything.
I'm going to lump these next 2 guys in together because we've talked about them a bunch, and we're just really quiet training camps for both of them, but both made big plays in this game. Antoine Powell-Ryland picked up a sack, and it was a clean sack. It was a really good rush. And then Lewis Seen has just a crazy diving interception.
Yeah, that's a great parallel, because they're 2 guys who really hadn't done anything. And yeah, it was a great sack, and Mac McWilliams, credit to him for being the one guy who realized that it was a live ball and pounced on it.
It was funny at first, from the press box. I thought it was one of those where they just let it play because they weren't sure. But no, that was very clearly a fumble.
It was, yeah. It was good to see him. Look, he's a rookie, 6th round pick. Boy, he's had a quiet summer. But look. Expectation, a rookie 6th round pick isn't supposed to come in and dazzle everybody from day one. So all these guys, all these late round picks, and they had a bunch of them. It's going to take time. And that was really encouraging. And Lewis Seen, I think I wrote in my odds that if you ranked all 90 players in training camp, or 90, whatever the final number is, he might be last as far as he did nothing this summer. And, he was hobbling around, he was hurt. Even when he wasn't limping, he looked like he was limping. And then to make that play, and this is a guy who was a former 1st round pick of the Vikings a few years ago. Eagles brought him in last year, had him on the practice squad at the end of the year. Gosh, I guess he got a ring. He was on the roster at the end of the year. That was an incredible play. And I mean, diving, I just, where does that come from? I mean, the guy hasn't done anything all year. It's cool to see, and it was another one just like Perry Nickerson's, where the sideline was going bananas. You know, it's a guy who, you know, it's been a struggle for Lewis Sean this year, and nothing's come easily for him. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to make the team. You're going to maybe you put him on the practice squad. I don't know, but it was cool to see. It was really a great play.
Yeah, it was good for him. I watched him walk off the field limping again. He had been dealing with an injury, so I think he kind of just left it all out there and made a play. So good for him.
Yeah.
The next three I have are guys who didn't play, but I think sometimes you read into guys who don't play and sometimes you don't. Jahad Campbell didn't play in this game, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. did. So I think it tells you pretty clearly if there was any question about who the starter is, it's Campbell.
Yeah, and there wasn't. I mean, we kind of knew that, but yeah, Trotter's really good, and he's, you know, in a normal year he'd be the starter, but this is not a normal year.
Yeah, Adoree Jackson didn't play, and I put him in stock up. I'm not exactly sure on this one. It could be, hey, he's a 9-year vet. We've seen him all summer. We don't need to see him in this game, or it could be we're not going to play him because he's our starter. Which way did you take it?
Yeah, I think this is the latter. But I also think Jacorian Bennett, even if Vic is thinking Jacorian's our starter, I think he has to play just because, you know, he got here late. He just needs the reps. He needs to play in this defense. And I thought he did some good things. I don't know if he was in your stock up tonight.
I didn't have him there, but you could, yeah.
Yeah.
He gave up some passes, but it looked like he had tight coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And when he did give up a pass, I thought he was pretty secure tackling after the catch. I still think he's going to be a starter at some point, but I would guess Adoree's your opening day starter.
Yeah. Don't love that, but
yeah.
And the last one I had
Bennett.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I think Bennett is better than Adoree Jackson. I would start him.
Interesting. Yeah, I might be right there with you, but I don't know if they're going to do that.
I agree.
The last stock up I had was Matt Pryor. No question, he's on the team. He didn't play in this game. He got the watch. Meanwhile, Kendall Lamb did play.
Yeah, so he's your swing tackle. I don't know if I love that. That's, you know, the Fred Johnson role, the big V role. Matt Pryor's been a guard most of his career. He did start 5 games at tackle for the Colts in 2021, I think. So he's played tackle. I like him more as a guard, but I think Jeff Stoutland knows more about this stuff than I do, so I'll defer to him. And yeah, Matt Pryor's going to be your swing tackle.
Anyone else stock up do you think I missed?
I think that's probably it. I was joking with you, Dorian Thompson-Robinson stock up just because he didn't play. But no, I think those are the guys that stuck out to me. It's good to see the new wide receiver catch a pass.
Mechie, yeah, on the first play.
Yeah, I think he had a drop. I think it was a play that got called back anyway. But you'd like to see him catch it anyway.
Yeah, I think that was the Brett Toth hold.
Yeah, it was Toth hold. But yeah, I think you kind of covered the stock ups. All
right, stock down, Kendall Lamb. Playing in this game made him a stock down, and then the way he played cemented that.
Yeah, the fact that Matt Pryor didn't. Kendall Lamb, I thought he'd be better. The guy's played a long time in the league. Another older guy. Gosh, I think this is his 10th year maybe, or 11th year. Just didn't really ever compete. Like, I don't think Matt Pryor was great, but there's no other. I mean, the other guys are young rookies, late round picks, and Kendall Lamb. So he
maybe Darian Kennard in the mix.
Maybe.
Another stock down. And look, he's a rookie, but Kyle McCord had some rough moments in this game.
He did. You know, he made a few good throws that, you know, guy thinking maybe he's warming up, but he got picked off once. He could have thrown 4.
Yeah.
He dropped 3.
And the one he got picked off on, he just can't make that throw. 1st and 10, thrown in double coverage. And he admitted, I talked to him in the locker room. He's like, I was just too aggressive there. I have to get off that read.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, double coverage to Darius Cooper down the right sideline. It was a play that never had a chance. Some of the other ones were, I mean, he missed badly on so many throws. he throws a lot just like off his back foot and falling away. He's just got to clean that stuff up because the ball doesn't go where he wants to when he does that. He's a guy that's got to set his feet, and he's not doing that. And look, I get that he's under pressure sometimes, but you can't make those throws. You can't put the ball in harm's way. I thought he made a few nice throws. I liked how he read the blitz on the completion to Ben Van Sumeren. It was nice to see that. I thought that he found Kylan Granson wide open on that 19-yarder. A couple other throws. I think he had a third down completion I don't remember who it was to, but there were a handful of throws. He threw like 35 passes.
Yeah, he was 15 for 35.
Yeah, for what, 140 something yards?
136.
Yeah, it's
passer rating of 42.1.
Yeah, it's
it's a legitimate concern too because of the Tanner McKee finger injury. By the way, saw Tanner walking off the field and leaving the locker room, right hand in his hoodie pocket in the pouch, so didn't get to see what he's got going on with. I think that was obviously purposeful, keeping it in that pouch. It's a concern if they have to go into week 1 and he's not ready to play.
Yeah, it's a huge concern. And we don't know the extent of that injury. We don't know when he's going to be available. We don't know when he's going to practice. And if Kyle McCord has to play meaningful snaps, I mean, he is just not ready. He's just not ready. He's not even close to being ready. And that's scary. So something to keep an eye on.
Any chance DTR put on ice in this game because you might need to get him to the practice squad and bring him up for a week? Or do you just go outside the building and try to find a quarterback?
Yeah, I just don't know who you're going to find at this point who you can bring in and have him ready to play, unless like Kenny Pickett gets cut by the Browns or something. I don't know.
That'd be possible.
It's possible.
I think they're trying to trade him, but the Eagles can't trade for him because they already traded him.
Can't trade for him, but if he's released, they can sign him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do that in a second. And I mean, he'd be ahead of anybody else. I don't know who else you bring in. Nate Sudfeld's on the street. The Niners cut him the day after they signed him. But no, I don't know. I don't think you're going to find anybody outside the building at this point. We're less than 2 weeks from the opener. You're bringing a guy who's going to learn the offense that quickly. It's going to be a guy that nobody else wanted. So it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah. Next stock down, Anaya Smith. This was a chance for him to solidify a roster spot. Maybe he still makes the team. I think it's possible, but it wasn't a good game. 2 catches on 5 targets, 10 yards, had at least a drop, maybe 2 drops in there. It just wasn't a good game for him.
Yeah, and he made a bad decision on that punt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he helped himself tonight.
Yeah. I put Trott in the stock down, no fault of his own. It's just couldn't win that starting gig. And then I also put the Jets in general in here because they had 10 penalties for 78 yards in this game.
Yeah, that's something they got to clean up, Dave.
I mean, this game took forever. All these penalties, the last 2 minutes of this game were like an NBA game. I was like, let's get out of here.
I know. Timeouts, penalties.
You have anyone else stock down?
Replays. No.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll go through a 53 real quick, and then we'll get out of here so I can drive the heck out of here and get out of MetLife Stadium.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
All right, back on the Eagle Eye Podcast, Reuben Frank, Dave Zangaro. Cuts are due 4 p.m. on Tuesday. I assume the Eagles will start to make those cuts maybe Sunday, Monday, ahead of Tuesday, and they'll make a lot of cuts on Tuesday. Let's just go through position. I have a tentative 53-man in front of me. There's still a few positions I might tweak here and there. I'm going to think about it on my drive home before I publish this in the morning. But let's start with quarterback. I think this is an easy one. they're just going to keep the three, right? Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
All right. No chance of DTR?
No, because nobody's going to claim him. So you keep him on the practice squad. And if Tanner McKee can't play in the opener, then you bring him up and just pray that Jalen is okay.
Easy enough. All right, running back. You can call it 3 or 4 from my standpoint. I have Saquon Barkley, Will Shipley, A.J. Dillon, and Ben Van Sumeren, who is a fullback, but we'll throw him in the running back pile.
I was doing my roster. I couldn't put him under running backs. I just couldn't do it. So I just made a running back section and a fullback section.
Fair enough.
I have one name under fullbacks, and he's making the team.
Yeah. Do you have the same guys, though?
Yeah.
Any chance they would cut A.J. Dillon? He didn't play in this game. Probably a good sign for him.
I was thinking about that, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I think he's looked pretty good this summer, and he's a veteran who I think is just good to have around. So I wouldn't cut him.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the next one is tough. Receiver. Obviously, the top 3, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. After that, it gets tricky. I had them keeping John Mechie. I had them keeping Darius Cooper. Rube, I have them keeping Anais Smith.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Howie's going to be reluctant to give up on a draft pick. And even though he hasn't been super smooth at returning punts, I don't know who else is going to do it.
That's fair. You don't want Cooper DeJean out there.
I mean, Jahan Dotson could, but he's going to be a bigger part of the offense this year.
Yeah, I cut Anais Smith. I think maybe punt returner or something they kind of look for on the waiver wire.
Possible.
I don't think he's been good enough to make the team.
Honestly. Yeah, he's like my last one in. And I went back and forth on this because at tight end, I had them keeping 2.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra. Did you do the same thing?
Yeah.
I think Kylan Granson is the guy who would make it if they keep 3. And I think there's a case to be made they should keep him.
Yeah, I went back and forth on him. I really wanted to keep him. I think he can play. I think he's had a good summer. But I don't see what the purpose is of keeping him.
Yeah. Now, I think they will have 3 tight ends active on game day. I don't think you have to keep one in the initial 53. They also just kept 2 at the initial 53 last year. And I thought E.J. Jenkins last training camp had a better camp than himself this year or Granson this year.
Oh, interesting. I think Granson's camp. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good last summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Things tend to sort themselves out when there's a player that, like Granson, I think will be on the roster at some point. I think he'll be a call up a couple times. I don't think he's going away, but I don't think he'll be on the initial 53.
Okay. How about offensive line? How many do you have there?
I kept all 14 of them.
I have 10.
I had 9. Who do you? Oh no, I do. Wait, I have 10.
Okay, so we probably have the same 10. We have the 5 starters: Matt Pryor, Brett Toth, Darian Kennard, Drew Kendall, and Miles Hinton.
Yeah,
I think like you could maybe cut Miles Hinton. I think there's some promise there. I know he hasn't been great in the preseason, but I think there's enough promise to keep him. I cut Kendall Lamb. I just haven't seen it. Honestly, I thought about cutting Brett Toth, which sounds crazy because like he might need to start week 1, but I'm still not sold on him being the best option to play left guard if Dickerson isn't ready. I
know. I'm with you. On Hinton first, Hinton's an interesting guy because once in a while he has a rep that you're like he has some really like wow reps where you can see that there's something there. He's just not consistent. But again, he's a rookie late round pick. And I mean, I guess Howie's just drafted so well, you kind of expect all these draft picks to come in and be polished NFL players, and that's not going to happen. Who would you start at left guard?
Kennard or Pryor. I mean, I think the best thing would be Steen at left guard and Pryor at right guard, but you're not going to do that for one game.
Right. And has Pryor gotten any left guard reps?
No.
Yeah. So I don't understand that. again.
Kennard got a few.
A handful. Yeah.
So the cuts are not easy. It's Kendall Lamb, Cameron Williams, Kenyon Green, Trevor Keegan, Holland Pearson, Lakin Vakalahi.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go to defense?
Yeah.
Defensive tackle. How many you have?
I have 5.
Okay. So the top 4 are going to be the same. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojima, Ty Robinson. Who's your 5th?
I have Byron Young.
I do too. I thought you were going to have Gabe Hall.
No, I have Byron Young. And that was before the game.
Yeah, I did too, because I like that he can play the nose. I think Gabe Hall's a little redundant, and Gabe Hall's pretty good. I think there's actually a chance they could keep 6.
That's interesting. Wouldn't shock me.
They kept 6 out of the gate last summer, so I think it's possible.
It's definitely a position they put a premium on.
Mm-hmm. Edge rusher. How many you have?
I have. Oh, let me go to edge rusher. I have linebacker here. I kept 5.
Same, and I think we have the same 5. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Josh Uche, Aziz Ojulari, Patrick Johnson.
Although I do think
Ogbo
Okoronkwo, I think he's been pretty good.
He has been. I don't know if he's such a great fit with this defense. At times these guys have to drop in coverage, and that's not going to be where he's most comfortable.
Yeah. I think he's done some good things. I thought he played well tonight. I think if Uche, I don't know how bad his injury is.
True.
So that's, if he can't play, even if he's going to miss a couple games, maybe you keep Ogbo until Uche's ready. I mean, I don't think you are going to IR Uche, but.
And also, this is a position where I think they should be looking.
Yeah.
They have 13 draft picks next year. Look around, and even if it's like not a big trade, if there's a player you would claim if they get cut, and they're going to get cut, trade a day 3 pick and skip the line and go get that player.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure Howie's going to be looking on Tuesdays. He'll be very busy.
The Eagles signed a guy today, Jeremy Robinson, who played in this game. I had a fun question with some of the other beats today. How many sacks would he have needed to get in this game to make the team?
He had a hurry.
He did have a hurry.
I had no idea who that was. Because I knew they put Johnny Wilson on IR. I didn't know they signed a guy. I guess he's a big old D tackle from Kansas State, is it? Or Kansas?
Defensive end, like a big defensive end.
Okay. He looked like an interior guy just watching it. Was he wearing 78?
Yeah.
I would say, how many sacks would he need to make the team?
Yeah.
5.
I don't even know if that's enough.
If he had 5 sacks, he makes the team.
Okay. Linebacker, 4?
Yeah.
Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smile Mondin.
Yeah. Although, man, I'll tell you what, Dallas, I love that play.
That was a great play.
On the 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
He just stood up. I guess it was Edwards. I don't even know who the back was, but he was like an inch from the end zone and he just stood him up. That was a cool play.
Cornerback. I have 6.
Same.
Quinion, Cooper DeJean, Mac McWilliams, Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo, Jacorian Bennett.
Same.
Any chance we see a Keely Ringo cut or trade?
Yes.
Okay. He's injured right now too, so
yeah,
didn't play in this game.
No, he didn't play. Stuck up on him for not playing. Yeah. Any chance Perry Nickerson has helped himself enough to?
I don't think so, because he's a guy you can also just get to the practice squad. I don't think teams are going to be trying to get him.
Probably true.
And he doesn't have to go through waivers. So,
yeah.
Safety: Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Andrew Makuba. What'd you do after that?
I kept I kept Tristan McCollum, who played well tonight.
Yep. I kept Tristan McCollum and Andre Sam.
Did you keep Andre Sam?
I kept Andre Sam. That's kind of my my one little curveball in here. I think there were times this summer where Andre Sam looked like he was about to pass Tristan McCollum. I think he's a good special teamer. So he's my one little surprise.
Okay. I like the player, but I don't have him on mine.
Fair enough. And then 3 specialists.
Yeah, I cut Braden Mann, actually.
They're not going to punt this year?
They might not.
That's all I've got.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some intrigue. I think Tuesday's going to be a pretty fun day.
Yeah, and we will, of course, talk to you guys all about it when we get there. No questions today. We just wanted to hop on here and do a quick little podcast. But if you want to send them to us, go ahead, eagleeye@nbcuni.com. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click the like button and subscribe there as well. Rube, any final thoughts?
Well, I know you're in a hurry to get out of there, so I just want to tell one story about when I was growing up in Columbus, Ohio as a child.
You know, it's funny. I had to do a TV hit on the field, and they had a hose. They were like spraying off the paint from the end zone. I thought the guy was going to take me out with the fire hose.
Oh.
That would have really changed my night.
That's the kind of thing that would happen to you at that stadium because you don't.
That's fair. I made it up here without incident this time.
It's good to hear.
All right. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.